The history of the conflict between Gaza and Israel is part of the broader Israeli-Palestinian conflict, which has deep roots and complex causes involving issues of land, identity, religion, and power. Here is a comprehensive overview of the history with a focus on the Gaza-Israel conflict. Ancient history and early conflicts. Biblical times. The area that is now Israel and the Palestinian territories, including Gaza, has been inhabited for thousands of years. In ancient times, it was home to various peoples, including the Canaanites, Israelites, and Philistines. The region is significant in Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. Ottoman Empire, 1517 to 1917. For centuries, the region was part of the Ottoman Empire, with a mixed population of Muslims, Christians, and Jews living in relative peace. British Mandate, 1917 to 1948. After World War I, the Ottoman Empire was dissolved, and Britain took control of Palestine, including Gaza, under a League of Nations mandate. During this period, tensions between Jewish and Arab populations began to rise, fueled by conflicting national aspirations and increasing Jewish immigration. The creation of Israel and the First Arab-Israeli War, 1948 to 1949. UN Partition Plan, 1947. In 1947, the United Nations proposed a partition plan to create separate Jewish and Arab states in Palestine. The Jewish community accepted the plan, but the Arab states and the Palestinian leadership rejected it. Israeli Declaration of Independence, 1948. On May 14, 1948, the State of Israel was declared. The next day, neighboring Arab states, including Egypt, Jordan, Syria, and Iraq, invaded Israel, marking the start of the First Arab-Israeli War. War and refugees. Israel won the war and expanded its territory beyond the UN-proposed borders. Hundreds of thousands of Palestinians fled or were expelled from their homes during the conflict, leading to a long-standing refugee crisis. Gaza under Egyptian control, 1948 to 1967. After the war, the Gaza Strip came under Egyptian military control. Egypt did not integrate Gaza into its territory, but governed it as an occupied area, with Palestinian refugees living in overcrowded conditions. The Six-Day War and Israeli occupation, 1967 to 2005. Six-Day War, 1967. In June 1967, Israel fought against Egypt, Jordan, and Syria in the Six-Day War. Israel captured the Gaza Strip, the West Bank, East Jerusalem, the Sinai Peninsula, and the Golan Heights. Israeli occupation of Gaza. Following the war, Israel occupied Gaza and the West Bank. The occupation led to the establishment of Israeli settlements in these territories and increasing tensions between Israelis and Palestinians. First Intifada, 1987 to 1993. The First Intifada, or Palestinian uprising, began in 1987 with widespread protests and violence against Israeli rule in the occupied territories, including Gaza. It marked a turning point in the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, leading to the Oslo Accords. The Oslo Accords and the Palestinian Authority. Oslo Accords, 1993 to 1995. The Oslo Accords were a series of agreements between Israel and the Palestine Liberation Organization, PLO, aimed at achieving a two-state solution. The accords led to the creation of the Palestinian Authority, PA, which gained limited self-governance in parts of the West Bank and Gaza. However, the accords did not resolve key issues such as the status of Jerusalem, refugees, and final borders. Rise of Hamas. Hamas, an Islamist militant group, gained popularity in Gaza during the First Intifada. It opposed the Oslo Accords and called for the destruction of Israel. Hamas carried out suicide bombings and other attacks against Israeli targets, leading to severe Israeli military responses. The Second Intifada and the disengagement from Gaza, 2000 to 2005. Second Intifada, 2000 to 2005. The failure of the Camp David summit in 2000, combined with ongoing tensions, sparked the Second Intifada. This uprising was more violent than the first, with heavy casualties on both sides. Israel responded with military force, including reoccupying parts of the West Bank and conducting operations in Gaza. Israeli disengagement from Gaza, 2005. In 2005, Israel unilaterally withdrew its settlers and military forces from the Gaza Strip. The withdrawal was intended to reduce conflict and create conditions for peace, but it led to internal Palestinian power struggles and did not end violence. Hamas control of Gaza and repeated conflicts 2006 present. Hamas wins elections 2006. In 2006, Hamas won the Palestinian legislative elections, leading to a power struggle with the Fatah-led Palestinian Authority. In 2007, Hamas seized control of Gaza, while the Palestinian Authority retained control of the West Bank. This division has persisted, complicating efforts for peace. Blockade of Gaza. Following Hamas's takeover, Israel, with Egypt's cooperation, imposed a blockade on Gaza, restricting the movement of people and goods. The blockade has been a major point of contention, contributing to the economic hardship and humanitarian crisis in Gaza. Gaza Wars, 2008 to 2009. Operation Cast Lead. Israel launched a military operation in Gaza in response to rocket fire from Hamas. The conflict resulted in significant casualties and destruction in Gaza. 2012, Operation Pillar of Defense. Another round of conflict erupted, with Israel targeting Hamas leaders and infrastructure, and Hamas launching rockets into Israel. 2014, Operation Protective Edge. One of the deadliest conflicts, lasting 50 days, resulted in heavy casualties, with over 2,000 Palestinians and 70 Israelis killed. The war caused widespread destruction in Gaza. 2021, May conflict. Tensions in Jerusalem escalated into a full-scale conflict, with Hamas firing thousands of rockets into Israel and Israel conducting airstrikes in Gaza. The conflict resulted in significant casualties and further destruction. Current situation and ongoing tensions. Humanitarian crisis in Gaza. The blockade, coupled with repeated conflicts, has led to dire humanitarian conditions in Gaza. The population suffers from high unemployment, limited access to clean water and electricity, and inadequate healthcare. Political stalemate. Efforts to achieve a lasting peace have been hampered by deep divisions between Hamas and the Palestinian Authority, as well as between Israel and the Palestinian leadership. International efforts, including those by the United States, the United Nations, and other mediators, have failed to produce a sustainable resolution. Periodic violence. The conflict between Israel and Gaza remains volatile, with periodic escalations in violence. Issues such as the status of Jerusalem, Palestinian refugees, Israeli settlements, and the blockade of Gaza continue to fuel tensions. Two-state solution. While the international community largely supports a two-state solution, with Israel and a future Palestinian state existing side by side in peace, achieving this outcome remains elusive due to political, territorial, and security challenges. Conclusion. The Gaza-Israel conflict is deeply rooted in a century of territorial disputes, national aspirations, and religious significance. Despite numerous attempts at peace, the situation remains unresolved, with the people of Gaza and Israel continuing to endure the consequences of this protracted conflict. The path to peace requires addressing the underlying issues, fostering dialogue, and making compromises that have so far been difficult to achieve.